Okay, welcome back. Happy to see that there are still some of you here. I just did take a look at the results from assignment 1, and it seems that most of you have completed the first assignment by now. And I just want to remind you that the deadline is pretty soon on Thursday, 1300 hours. So directly after the tutoring session for the last group, right? So if you're stuck, please ask questions on Slack. If you don't get an answer by someone else, private message me on Slack, and I will try to address those ASAP. Okay, today we're going to do a bit of live coding. We've looked at some code yesterday, and some of it might just have like rushed by your eyes and you didn't understand anything, or so we're going to try to do it a bit slower, but we have a lot of code to write. I've written a couple of use cases here for the code that we're going to write, so it's pretty simple stuff. We're going to have some kind of, let's say, a store, but not really. But we have products, and we have some kind of a lot of products, so we can show a list of products. And we have a customer that wants to check out these products, the prices, and also the popularity of these products. So we're going to have some kind of way of showing popularity. And the customers are also supposed to be able to increase or decrease this popularity, voting for a product, okay? Sounds familiar, right? Okay, perhaps marking by stars or a like button or something like that on the product. And the first use case is that customer investigates product popularity. So the customer wants to see how popular a certain product is. And now we see the discussion or whatever between the system and the customer here, right? So the system presents a list of products. The customer selects the product he is interested in, or she, and system displays that product, also displays the popularity of that product somehow. By intention, this is a bit vague, right? I'm not saying that we show how many likes or we show how many stars or whatever, or we don't say that this person liked this product and the other person didn't, or whatever. I just say that there is some way of showing popularity, right? Also, if the customer has already voted for that product, he can see that information also, right? It sounds familiar, right? And the second use case is that the customer increases the popularity of product, and the use case starts when a product wants to tell other customers that she likes a product, he or she. And the second use case starts very similar. The system shows a selection of products. The customer selects the product he or she wants to see. The system provides an opportunity to increase the popularity of this product, and the customer votes for the product, and system displays the new popularity of the product and also that the customer has voted for that product, right? And the third one is that a customer decreases popularity of a product. Customer wants to tell other customers that she no longer likes a product. The system presents all products, right? Customer selects the products she has previously voted for. System provides an opportunity to decrease the popularity of that product. Customer removes their vote from that product, and system displays the new popularity of the product, also that the customer no longer votes for that product. Right? Pretty simple stuff. So that is what we're going to do. I'm going to do a bit of live coding. There are like 80-something students on this course, and some of them are watching this right now. So I might be a bit nervous right? Writing a lot of code in front of a lot of people makes me, not always, but might make me nervous. So I might need your help to complete this, right? So there will be cases where I'm totally mind blocked, and you guys need to guide me to finding the problems, right? So there might be a simple error, but I cannot see it since I'm like socially blocked by all of you. So please help me. And there is, so I've practiced, so to speak. We're going to start very simple, and there is under the lecture code prepared or something like that, a folder where there is some code, like the direction we're going in. Not really quite a complete solution yet, because I like to be able to test before I continue. So we're not going to write a lot of code without testing, and then testing in the end and finding all the bugs and remove those bugs. We're going to try to do a little bit of coding, get some feedback so that we're confident that the code that we've written works, right? We're going to try to never write code that we haven't tested. At least we should have, the code should be run, right? So we know that we don't have any obvious errors, at least, right? So I tend to make like temporary solutions just for the benefit of testing. And the same thing goes for this lecture code, the prepared ones. Okay. And that's the wrong one. So we actually had some code already. We did have this index.php that we wrote during the first lecture. And you do remember the HTML view. Can you in the back see any of that code? Good. Okay. So what this code does that we start from is that it turns on error reporting. As I've said, this is normally done in php.ini. And after that, I require the code that I need, the class HTML view that I need, and then I create an instance of that class, and then I call on a method of that class. I set the title to hello, and we're going to change that. I like it. Let's call it that. And the second parameter is hello world right now, some HTML that comes in the HTML body of this document. And we're going to check out the HTML view. It's pretty simple. It takes a character set in its constructor, normally UTF-8, and it builds up a HTML document from a title and a body. It puts things in the right places. This class might be, we might want to change it later, because if we're going to add like CSS stuff, we want to add stuff to the header, right? We want to be able to set different meta tags for different products and stuff. So just having a title and body is the minimal things. And many of the things that we're going to do in this application is going to be both temporary, as I've said before, but also minimal, just showing you the concepts and perhaps inspire you to do something. So it's not going to be like the best code ever, but or a complete solution for every case. Okay, so let's start out by running that code and see that at least the title changed. And I have no idea why my browser didn't show up. So here we have the output of the current application. You can see that the title has changed to I like it, and the content is still hello world. Okay, so let's start out with some products, and that we want to show these products. So I'm going to start doing something that I call top-down. And top-down means that I pretend that code exists that doesn't. And I pretend that I have code that solves my problem, right? So let's pretend that we already have products and that we already have a catalog of products that can, and perhaps that we can show. So let's just pretend that I have a and these products and this product catalog is going to be part of the model, right? Oh, autocomplete hurts you sometimes. So now we have a product catalog. Okay, we want to add some products to that catalog so that we have something to view. Product 1 is called model. Okay, in the constructor of a product, I probably want to add stuff like the configuration of that product, right? The constructor, when we call the constructor, we add stuff that is needed for each object. The things that change between two objects, right? So probably you want to add some kind of name of a product. And I'm going to do a TV store because I have so little imagination. Sony 50-inch TV, something like that. Super wide field. That is the title of the product. Okay, what more is there? What do we want to say about products? Price, yeah, that's a good idea. So how much for that Sony 50-inch super wide field? 15,000 Swedish kronas. It's so awesome and expensive, right? So I add that one. And let's say that we want to add it to the product catalog. Like that. Awesome. Let's try that out. Will it work? No. It says fatal error. I don't know what that clause is, right? This error is nothing that is horrific for me. It's actually helpful. It says to me what I have to do, right? So error messages are feedback from your code to you as a programmer. And for instance, I can use it like I did right now. I didn't even write these clauses. And I don't need to remember the next time I start up coding. If I stop coding right now, I don't need to remember what to do. I just run the application or the test of the application, and the error messages will tell me what to do. Awesome. I have a to-do list, right, in program code errors. So one way of stopping coding, if you're going to stop coding and you want to start the next day, but you're not sure that you're going to remember what to do, is actually to introduce errors in your code. So that the next time you get there, you just run the tests of your code and you directly see the error and you can start up. Because it's in the beginning of a coding session like today, there's always a bit confusion on what to do. Okay, so now we have an error. Now we can fix that problem. So let's add a class named product catalog. I put it in the namespace model. Awesome. Fixed first problem, right? And I also know already that I need a class called product also. and it should be in the model namespace. Okay, if I run this again, I will get the same error, since I have not told the interpreter where these classes are. So I need to include these classes in order to let the interpreter find them. And I'm so frustrated that Alt-Tab does not find it. Okay, now the next error says that, okay, product catalog does not have an add method. Awesome. Now I know what to do. We add products to the catalog, right? So, maybe I should just leave it like this, because I have no way of testing that this code works right now. But inside the product catalog, I'm probably going to need some kind of array, right? Right now, my testing sort of breaks, so I only get these results. And this is actually a bad result because it does not tell me what to do. It just tells me that, okay, you need to display these products somewhere, right? I don't get an error message that guides me. It just says that hello world. So it's sort of a priority to try and display these products. So let's do that first. Before I write this, if I'm worried that I'm leaving code now that does not work, and I can add a to-do here. You can see that the little dot to the left, right? So in Sublime, to-do means something, right? But it's really just a comment. Add method. Right there. I sometimes throw an exception here instead. That's another way of telling to do, like this. Like that. So, and that gives me a reason to come back here and fix the problem, right? In C#, I think if you automatically creates a method, it contains an not implemented exception. Is that right? Yeah. This is the same thing, but it's just me writing it by hand. So that could be one way of doing it. But right now, it does not really help me, since I will get that exception and it tells me, okay, you got to implement this method, but I have no way of knowing if I do it correctly. So, so I'm going to remove that, and instead I'm going to invent a way of displaying output. So let's go back to the code, and let's say that I have something called a product catalog view. I could just call it product catalog, but it's a bit confusing, like I mentioned before. So I add this view here, even if it's part of the namespace. And the product catalog view, I'm probably going to need, it's going to need that relationship back to the model, right? The view knows the model. So I add the model into the view. And after that, I can ask the product catalog to get me some HTML. Awesome. Now I will get an error message that will tell me what to do. It says that, okay, we don't have a view yet. So let's create that one. Sorry, bit too fast. This is in the namespace view. If I don't remember what the method was called, I can always rerun the test. Oh, sorry. I need to include it first. It says that, okay, we don't have a method. Okay, let's do that one. It actually don't tell me that I don't have this constructor which takes a product catalog. But now I actually got a test. If I run this, I get no output. And that was not what we expected. We expected a product catalog with this Sony TV, perhaps, right? So we would like to, first of all, make sure that we understand how this works. So let's start easy. And make sure that, fantastic. Something that I wrote actually made a predictable result, right? Okay, now I need to display these products. And I do remember that I had a constructor. And it did take a model and now the constructor takes this, gets this catalog in its as a parameter. Now I need to save that, so I configure my object so that I can use that object when I produce the HTML. And I save it by creating a private member. Oh, sorry. Don't forget the this. The code will actually work like this. Will not produce an error, even if I have not declared a member. The problem is it will become undocumented, and it also will become public, this catalog, if I don't write it specifically as private. Okay, now I have this. Let's go through all the products in the catalog and create HTML from those. And once again, the product catalog is an empty class. So I'm just pretending there is methods that I don't have yet. So for me to walk through each product, I need an array of those products. I access the catalog by this. I could ask the model perhaps to get me these products in a certain order, perhaps ascending or the cheapest first or something like that. Right now we don't have any such requirements, so I just say get products, but you do understand that this product catalog can probably be, you can get these products in different orders and stuff like that, right? So we imagine there is a method called getProducts, and after that we go through that product array. Actually don't care about that one. And each of the items in that array, it will be a product. And so let's get some information from that product for us in order to create this list of products or whatever. Perhaps title. That would be a good thing. And we also had a price, right? Or we don't, but let's imagine. Okay, let's create a string that we can return. Create an almost empty string, but I'm creating an unordered list. So, and I'm going to build on this list, and in the end, I'm going to add a closing tag, and for each of product, I'm going to do a line. So I extract information from the model in order to create HTML. You recognize this a bit from the first assignment, right? Or I hope. Okay, this needs to be returned, so I put it after the H2 title. Not the most beautiful HTML you will ever see, but it's something, right? It's good enough to show us that, okay, we got an error. We don't have a method called getProducts right now, but if we did, we probably could get some kind of output, or hopefully, or at least discover the problems that we have. So let's add this method. Sorry? Awesome. I forgot a bug. Like that. Awesome. Thank you. A small applause for the guy who discovered the dot was missing. Thank you very much. Probably saved us half an hour of debugging time. Sharp eyes, sharp eyes. So now I have a method called getProducts, and now my test tells me what's the next problem. Okay, the getProducts did not return anything because I didn't ask it. So we get an invalid argument for each. Awesome. We didn't get a... Today's word seems to be awesome. Sorry about that. I seem to get hung up on words sometimes. That is not so awesome. Okay, so let's create a private yeah. And instead of having this exception and empty method, we actually add stuff to that product. And down here, we return that. Oh, sorry, weird macros. I'm not really used to this keyboard. Programmers and their keyboards. I love my keyboard at home and I love my keyboard at work, but I don't love this keyboard. It's a bit too small. You should select your tools with care. You can manage with even the ones that you're provided, but you seem to like slip on the keys sometimes. Okay, so now I've actually got a product array, and I can add product to that, and I can return the array of products. Why not using just an array? Skip this class at all. Why do we want this class? A product catalog can be quite useful. It could, for instance, sort these products in another way, by price or something like that, and return a new sorted array instead of the one that we're returning right now. So that is at least my idea for it. Okay, we don't have a title on the product. Let's fix that problem. Now it becomes obvious that we need a constructor here also. And we did include the price, right? Like that. If these products were like added by some administrator, we don't have any types for title and price. So if the administrator like confuses these parameters, there might be a price as a title and a title as a price, right? And that might screw up our code later on. So it could be a good idea to add some statements that helps us to get these types correctly. Maybe we have some rules. Perhaps the price cannot be negative. Yeah. I actually got a shopping basket once with a price of 0. I have no idea how they produced that bug, but I had a lot of items in my shopping basket, but the total price was 0. So I emailed them and asked them to change that. Okay, could you please redo this application so that I can shop from you? I've also encountered, actually from a Swedish supplier of computer components, Dustin. Sorry. I got a price. I put a couple of things in the shopping basket, and then I ordered. And when I ordered, and it says, okay, your order is put through, and you get this receipt for the order, I got another price. The discount was removed, like 20% or something like that. And I was really frustrated. So these things matter, to the customer at least. Okay, there are 2 ways of presenting this problem. We can assert something, maybe that the title is a string. Maybe we also want to say that a title must be like more than 1 character, or shorter than 1,000 characters, or 100 characters, or something like that. Maybe we have a title that has a maximum limit, right? We can have these rules here also, right? I'm just going to say that it's going to be a string. And I can say that the price should be a numeric. And here I add another statement that says that price must be bigger than 0. We cannot have negative prices like that. Okay. We still don't. Oh, sorry. Unexpected variable. I did misspell something, or up here. Like that. Didn't know what title on. Oh, still don't have a price. Okay. Awesome. Excellent. So now I'm going to show you what happens if we put a negative price. So you know how an assert works. So let's just try out that assert works. Let's say that we give the customer 15 grand if they buy this TV. It's so horrible. Okay, so you see that the assert actually put out a warning, right? So this warning, we don't want our customers to see those, right? Those are for us programmers. So assert produces sort of warnings or errors for us programmers to see. You can see that the code did still run. We get a price out that is still minus 15,000, and some happy dude is going to get a TV and a lot of money. Another way, if we did not intend for this error to be handled by a programmer, as I do right now, I want this error to be handled by the system. When someone adds like minus 15,000 into a product field, we want that error to say that, okay, you must add a number bigger than 0 to that administrator, right? So in that case, I want the error to be handled by code. In that case, we're going to use what? What? How do we handle errors? Try catch. Awesome. Exception handling. Let's do that instead. So for exceptions to be thrown, I need an if statement. If not numeric or this keyboard or price is less than or equal to 0, we throw new exception. Yeah. Now we get an exception instead, right? But we don't want the customer to see these either, so we need a try catch somewhere in the administrative interface somewhere so that we can catch this error and say that, okay, you need to, and say that to the administrator some way in HTML that, okay, price is too low, you need to put a positive integer here, right? Right now, we don't have a customer interface. The customer interface, or administrator interface, is just this code that I'm adding products here. So let's step it up a notch and add another TV. let's add a 47-inch super fat TV. It's super cheap. So it's my old TV, right? I don't know if it's 37 inches. It's probably like 22. You know these fat TVs. Yeah. And let's see that it will, oh, it only shows me one. How can that be? Oh, I didn't add that second TV to the catalog, right? I just overwrote this one. So let's add the second TV also. These TVs are probably supposed to be in some database somewhere. So we're probably going to want to load these objects from a database. So we're going to have some kind of data access layer class that is a product database or something like that, that we can get a product catalog from. But that is persistence, and that comes later. So let's just be happy and code away without it. Oh, fantastic. Now I have two different TVs. OK, so now we want to be able to select one of these products and get some information about that product. And we also want to be able to vote for this stuff and see how many has voted for this one. So let's go to the product view again and create some kind of link here. I'm going to stop like that. Yeah. And we add the title as a link and stuff like that. And let's create an URL. So now I need some kind of way of saying that if you click this button, you're going to show a product. So I could do this by a form, right? And I could post the product. But I'm not going to do that. So can someone tell me why I'm not want to post which product I want to view? So if you're browsing like Dustin or something like that, and you want to see a TV, you can probably see the name of the TV in the URL, right? So, and if you're watching a TV and you want to share that one with someone, okay, Mommy, can I get this one, please, for Christmas or something like that? You want to share that URL, and when someone gets that URL and puts it in their browser, they're going to see the same TV as you. So it's probably a good idea to be able to bookmark and share this. Thank you. So let's create a URL that can be bookmarked. Something like this. Okay, the product that we're viewing is probably going to have some kind of product ID. If we're looking at popular stores, there's probably going to be some kind of line up in their URL that are pretty much unique for each product. So I'm going to call this one, instead of product ID, unique, like that. So I need something that is really unique. I need a unique string for each product. So we need to add that to the product. Sorry. And I also need some kind of, well, let's do that in a second. Like that. I'm going to need some way of enforcing that this one is unique. So perhaps I could have an assert up here, or a if statement, and check, is this unique? But this check, if it's unique or not, is sort of hard to do here in the construct of one product. Am I unique? And I cannot see the other products, right? So it's like I'm born in a dark place and I cannot see any other one, and I think I'm unique, right? So in order to find out if something is unique, you need the other guys, right? The other products. So a better class to put this information would be in the product catalog, right? So if there is a product already in the product catalog that with that unique ID, we probably want to throw an exception. Okay, so how are we going to find out? One way would be to check all the products that we have, right? For each all the product, and check if some one of those has the same unique ID as the product we're trying to add. So let's do that, and let's take a break after that. There is a simpler way. If the product get something, get unique string equals to be added, get unique string, then we throw an exception. Fantastic. And I got lost. This string that I write, this error message, is for the benefit of the programmer. It's not supposed to benefit some administrator, right? So it's not supposed to be shown to someone, really. So it's just for the programmer. Okay, let's take like a 10-minute break. So 17 past 11, we continue. Starting the recording again. Okay, so now we do have something that is called unique, and We also probably have a way of finding out if a product has already been added. But we haven't tested that code, so let's not be sure until we have tried it that it actually works. So in order to do that, we need to supply a unique ID to these objects that I create. And as a first test, let's just add two stupid strings that seem to be the same and see that we will actually get an exception. Always test your exceptions. It's a good idea. Yeah, awesome. But it was not the same, the correct, or the error message I wanted. It was this something that I added down here. Somewhere over here. Thank you. And so this exception tells me that, okay, the error handling code that we wrote actually captures these problems. So I can remove that problem and add some better unique strings, like Sony 50 or something like that. And something like that. And hopefully, I don't remember, but I don't need to, we will get some, I didn't continue to write that code probably. I get some error that shows me what to do next, and I need to go back to the product view and continue this URL code, I guess. So, but I don't see the problem. Undefined variable URL on line 27. But this is a local variable, so it should not matter. Anyone see a problem? Maybe just save it. Oh, maybe I should save the code. That is a good idea. Okay, so for the Sony TV, we can see the URL down below says that product equals Sony. If I click it, I get it up here. And on the Philips, I get, okay, Philips 22 fat. So that seems to work, right? But I don't get a selection. I don't get to see the actual product with the price and stuff. So I need to have a second type of view here, a product view perhaps, that shows me one TV. And I need to have some mechanism of finding out if I'm looking at the TV or if I'm looking at the entire list of TVs. And the actual selection of a product was something from the use case, right? We present a list or all the products, and the customer selects a product. So that was the use case was a controller thing, right? Do you remember? So the model was the domain, the view was the presentation, and the controller was the use case. So let's write a use case, or a controller. I call it the store. And I add the controller sordo namespace. Okay. Yes, I should include that also. Okay, top down. Do show store. So that means, okay, do everything in this store, right? Show the store or perhaps do store could be a better thing. Do shopping, do something like that. Do store. And inside this, let's begin with moving things from the index file, like creating the catalog view and do we want that also? Yeah. Yeah, let's do it that way. And I remove these things. So this is sort of the way I think it should work. That, okay, I can ask a store to, okay, do store stuff. That is, handle input, react on input from the views, make changes to the state, and also I can ask the store to provide HTML output. I'm probably going to need to configure this store to show this product catalog. So I'm going to send that product catalog to the store constructor. So I configure the store controller to show a certain set of products. Then I ask the store to do what stores do in the use case, what it says there, to show a certain product or to handle input from a certain product, and also to be able to store, to get an HTML representation of that store from the proper view. Okay. So the store is going to need the product catalog, and it's also going to need a product catalog view. So first, I create a constructor that takes a product catalog. And I save that one in my member variables. Then I create a product catalog view and I make that view use the same catalog. And I had another method called something get HTML, get store HTML. Okay. Oh, it's missing brackets. Thank you. So now what I've done is I haven't changed anything really, any behavior of the store. I've just added another class, another way of doing things, right? So before I continue and add stuff, I probably should try that it still works. It didn't. So probably a good idea to test once in a while before you code away. And as you've seen, I'm pretty fanatic when it comes to testing. That is why I teach the testing course here on Linnéus. So sort of I have an idea that every line of code you write must have someone who tested that line of code. Right. Okay, we can see that we didn't send an instance of the product catalog to the store controller constructor. So I need to provide that information. And I created the store controller catalog here, and I haven't saved the file. That was the problem. Once again. Okay, it seems that I get oh, check this out. This is a good error. Argument 1 passed to the store controller construct must be an instance of controller product catalog, but I did give it a model product catalog. So here you can see some confusion on the namespaces, right? So I created a model product catalog, I send it to the constructor, but here I don't specify that it should be a model product catalog, so I need to do that. Okay, seems that it's working, right? So now I need some mechanism to handle these two states. The first state is that user wants to see a list of product. The other state is that he wants to see a certain product. So how I do it is that I ask the view if the customer wants to see a product. If the customer wants to see a product, let's show him a product. And I need to know which product does he want to see. He wants to see the product that the view like this. And then down in, I have a lot of private members that I should write. So I initiate a selected product, a member variable, to null. That means we don't have a selected product. Each time we do the store, we check if the customer wants to see a product. If he wants to see a product, I ask, what product do you want to see? And I get that product back from the view. And if I have a product that I want to see, that is not null, then I should check out that product and not do the other things. So I'm just gonna make a temporary thing here just to be able to test things, right? Like that. And now, since I've written top down, it's just for me to correct the error messages until I'm done. Until I get the behavior that I expected. So let's do that. Customer wants to see a product, should be a part of product catalog view. Okay. Now I need to know how information is provided to me from the customer or from the browser in this case. So let's just var dump everything I get in get, because the information will be there. And yeah, and then let's run the, maybe we even do this return false. So you can see that since I have product equals Sony, I get product equals Sony up here. Okay, so the information, if I remove this, it's nothing. It's an empty array. So the information is in this get array. So I need to extract that information, but I need to be prepared that it does not contain anything. So I need this isSet method, and I need to check if it's set. If it's set, I return true. I have, with intention, included something that I don't want you to do here. I'm going to come to that thing very soon. But we're going to check out the results first. Oh, so now it works, right? We see that since I've selected a product, I ask for that product. If I remove this, I will get this one, right? So in one case, when I want to view the entire list of products, that works, right? But I have something to do when the products continue. But I actually introduced a string dependency, and I want to talk a little bit about that. Now, this product here, the name product, is in two places, up here and down here. And this is a dependency. If I change the string in one place, I must change the string in the other place. If I just, I want shorter URLs, and I rename it to P, I must check at P. I must change this, right? These strings need to be the same, or the application will not work. This is an implicit dependency, a string dependency that there is no mechanism in the code that finds this error. It's going to be quite hard to find if I don't thoroughly test my application. So one way of handling this would be to make sure that these two are always the same. And the way that I do that is by creating a private member variable and I call it product URL ID. Sorry? Oh, thank you. Now you can see, right? And now I can use that ID down here. And I usually put this as private static. And we talked about static last time, so I'm not going to repeat that. You can watch the last lecture to know why. And you write self, that is the class, your own class, and you access a static variable by double colon. Is it called colon? Yeah. And then the name of the variable. You could use constants. A class can have constants, but constants are public, so I don't use them here, because I don't want anyone outside of this class to know the location in get that this class is using. So there is something that is worse than a string dependency within a class, and that thing that is worse is string dependencies between classes. So someone asked if could I use get or post in a controller directly, because I've seen that in PHP frameworks. It's very common actually to see that. And the reason for you're not allowed to do that, or at least not for the grade or the higher grades in this course, is because I don't want you to learn how to do stupid things. You should learn how to write code that explains to you when you do something wrong, right? Your code should give you feedback as a programmer if you interact with it the wrong way, right? If you change a string in one place, it should work. So one way of doing that is, okay, instead of having these string dependencies, we can actually access the correct location of this. Okay, it's quite common that you want to change this thing. So let's change it to P to have shorter URLs. And let's see if it works. So reload, I get new links, right? And you can see that the links are generated correctly. If I press them, I get the expected error message that, okay, we need to get the product. Okay, so let's continue and work with the selected product. So I assert that customer 1 wants to see a product. That way I can reuse the code in the previous method and make sure that if this method is called and the customer does not want to see a product, I will always get an assert error, because that is not the way you will want to call it. You're never supposed to call this method if the other method does not return true, right? So you cannot ask for the selected product if there is no selected product, really. Okay. And this way is one way of enforcing that the programmers who are using this class don't use it in the wrong way. Okay, now I want to get the selected product, and so let's do that. I actually got the unique ID, or hopefully the unique ID, in this get. So let's extract that. Oh, sorry. Försök ansluta på nytt. Do that. So is there a network problem, or is there something else? Tech problems are always so fun. So let's leave this meeting somewhere or something, and it hanged. And let's start a new meeting. And I couldn't. Okay. No. Like, fantastic. So that can throw you off. Okay, so I get the unique key to the product here. But I could also get whatever the customer sends me, right? If he manipulates the URL, he could give me something else, right? So for me, in order to get a product, I must ask the product catalog, is there a product with this unique key? Right? So I'm going to do that. I ask the catalog, get product from unique. And then I send it. Right? And if I get a product, everything's fine, right? But if I get null, something is wrong. So if the product is not null, I return it. If it is not null, I throw an exception. Okay. The catalog does not have such a method. I just invented it. So let's add it. Oh. So now I need to find out, is there a product with this? And I could do it like I did up there. I could for each every product and check, is there a product here? Or if this product catalog is actually connected to a database, I might do a select question to that database. Is there a product named this with the key here? But just for the sake of it, I'm going to talk a little bit about arrays. Because arrays in PHP are not like arrays in other languages. They are associative arrays. That means that I can choose what index to save things on. I can choose the key where to save things on. And I can have numeric keys like you used to. So the first product is stored on place 0. The second one is stored on place 1. The third one is placed on place 2, like the normal array things, if it's normal to start numbering things from 0. Or I can say that under a certain key, a string perhaps, a product is stored. So the second way would be that I use the unique string, since it's unique, to store a product in this array on that location. If that was the case, I could have this code, if is set this product's name string. If it's set, okay, then I know that there is a product called that. And that is sort of shorter than the for each loop, right? And the if statement. So we're going to go with that solution instead. So we store, instead of storing it in the last place in this array, I store it in the location of the unique string. So check line 17, you can see that, okay, I added the unique location just to be very, very, say that the key is the unique string, right? And in this case, I check, is there a location name that if it is, I return that product. If it isn't, I return null. I can probably keep this thing up here, the for each loop, but it could be replaced by this statement, right? Okay. So we're watching a product now. Awesome. We don't see what product it is. It's just this temporary code that I put there in order to know what to do. But I can watch the other product by manipulating URL to go back and watch this list, and I can watch the superfat. Okay. So let's go back to the view because I don't want to watch or the controller actually, store controller, because that was the temporary code I added. So let's create a new view whose responsibility it is to produce HTML for a certain product. New file, product view. And let's go back to the controller and figure out what to put in that. So if I have a selected product, I can create an instance of a product view. And I configure that instance with the selected product. And then instead of watching the product, I can ask that view to produce some nice output for me. Product view, get HTML. Right? Fairly simple. Let's create this view. The constructor takes the product, but not a view product, as it seems to be not right now, but a model product. I save it for later as a member. Oh, public. And then I create the other method. Oh. Since I've written a bit of code, I stop. Oh, I get an error message, right? I'm not done yet. I should not start writing this HTML code yet because I still have some problems to fix, like I need to include that file. So let's do that. Awesome. Okay. So now we create a string representation of the product. Title, right? And probably gonna return that thing. Okay. I'm gonna, for now, ignore all the like things, the price. Here we would put all the details, the image, whatever, on the product. Right now we just get a title and we're gonna be happy about that. So let's see if it works. Oh, fantastic. It's super fat. And the other one works too, right? Fantastic. Short applause. I get a question. Wouldn't it be a good idea to use an autoloader now that we have so many classes to include? Yes, you are free to investigate autoloaders on your own. It's not going to be it's sort of specific to PHP. It's not something that's going to benefit you in other languages. So please do. Actually, the way that I require files right now from the index file is not the best way of doing it. I think it's okay. Let's say that this file needs to know about the product, right? This file, the product view, has a relationship to the product. So actually, if someone is using this file from another file than index, it won't work, right? So this file should actually require the product. But there are some quirks when it comes to PHP and some like putting things in different folders and stuff like that. So please check up on these autoloaders. The PHP community is very big on it. I've never really cared about it. I like when a class is showing what dependencies it has, like requiring things up here. Sort of don't have too much time to fix things right now. Yeah. Okay, so now we got one thing left. Or we got dozens of things, but one thing today. And the thing is that you've seen that I have this awesome navigation features in this application that I can remove certain parts of the URL to go back. That is awesome, right? I could probably also use the back key. But it could be nice to have a back button, right? So just for the sake of argument, I'm going to put it here. And oh, it works. I'm blinded. It's so beautiful. We've done this together. But it seems that creating a back arrow, so to speak, a back link is not a part of the product's view's responsibility, right? A product view should only probably handle stuff that is about products. If we sort of using the product view in a lot of different places, I don't want the product view to have like understand how the entire application works, right? Maybe back should in one case return us to a category of products, and in another case return us to the front page of the application. So it might be a bad idea to put this code into that. So this is sort of the application responsibility, right? Where to put this back thingy. So link. So I'm going to remove it from here. We're going to save, and then sort of I want to put it here. But I should not put output in a controller. Output or HTML is view responsibility. So I'm probably going to need some kind of view to put this in, right? But the current two views that I have really don't work very well. So I'm probably going to need to invent another view. Perhaps an application view, or I would call it a navigation view. Yes. Do you follow me on how I reason with this, right? The navigation is sort of another responsibility. We're going to talk more about navigation stuff because when we get these like buttons also, we're going to have a problem with navigation. We're going to want to have more information in the URL than just the product ID. And that is quite common, that sort of the state follows you in the URL. So if you have navigated, perhaps there is more information in the URL than just the current product. And when you create these links, like I do here, this one is very simple, just a question mark, right? But it could be that I want to include more information, like where I'm from, or yeah, stuff like that. So we're going to talk more about that later. Right now, since I want to end this lecture, I'm going to end it with a bang, and that is an error message showing me what to do next, so that I can start really fast and get into it, right? So I'm going to write HTML dot equals nav view get URL to product view. Something like that. And let's make sure that it actually results in an error message. So next time we start, I can see this error message. I realize, okay, I need to provide that code, right? And I try to be a bit specific when it comes to naming, so that I know what to do. Get URL to, not get URL, get link, perhaps, right? It's quite important to be specific when it comes to naming. I'm sort of bad at it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for listening. See you next week on lectures, but tomorrow, right, for some of you, and on Thursday for the Växjö guys and girls. There's a deadline on Thursday. Make sure you make it. I will try to be as active as I can be on Slack when I don't have tutoring sessions. Yes. Thank you.